that what you will discover when you study the history of Israel, the children of Israel, what made them such an amazing people is their ability to share stories. The very Bible that we read today, much of the Old Testament, literally comes to us through the process of oral tradition. The Bible itself reaches a place called canonization, or when the Bible comes together as 66 books, because stories were told in small clans and groups, and over time and usage these stories gained momentum and credibility, because from one generation to the next they kept telling the story. In other words, people really need to know the power of God's word. There are a lot of people who need to understand this is not just a collection of antiquated stories, but no, this word is a living document that when I receive God's word, it transforms itself into a prophetic promise in my life, that I may come in the house of God and I may see myself as a prisoner of my reality, of my right now. But what his word does, his word releases me into my not yet. See, it's hard to search you when everything's going well. It's really hard to measure your level of commitment when you ain't got no trouble in your life. Anybody can lift their hands and give God glory when you don't have anything going on, but when you're in the wilderness, that's when God knows what the real commitment is. That's when God knows who he can really trust to show up. Some of you right now got out here to this 11:15 service because you in the wilderness. You know, otherwise you wouldn't be here today. The wilderness will push you into the presence of the Lord. That every time you find yourself getting tired and weary in well-doing, if you can just remember what God has done in your life, it'll give you fuel, and you can say, hey, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. But I want you to hear this. If I can remember what God has done for me. Somebody say, if I can remember what God has done for me. Say, I can dismember everything the devil's trying to do to me. And tell him, I come today to tell you, you do not have the right to remain silent.
To view this message in its entirety, please log on to www.mountzionanywhere.org.